benefit of practicing bodhicitta mind. And then chapter number 2, which is disclosure of wrongdoing, and chapter number 3 is full acceptance of the awakening mind. Now chapter number 4 is conscientiousness. Because of chapter number 3, so we voluntarily take the Bodhisattva vows. So we have remember when we talk about the bodhicitta mind, it is the man-mind, mental consciousness. It is not our bodhicitta mind, or not sensory consciousness. It is mental consciousness. And so the chapter number 3, we voluntarily practice bodhicitta mind, which means what is the definition of bodhicitta mind, what is the purpose of practicing bodhicitta mind, and why we need to accomplish, practice bodhicitta mind and Bodhisattva vows. And we are not pushing other people to take the bodhicitta mind, just voluntarily, because the witness are the Buddha and Bodhisattvas are our witness, and you voluntarily take Bodhisattva vows, and you promise, I will practice these 2 categories on the bodhicitta mind, just like Shantideva and like His Holiness Dalai Lama, and these are very good examples. So we are not pushing, you must practice bodhicitta mind. I didn't push anybody. Voluntarily, you want to practice Dharma, coming here and receiving this teaching. So because of chapter number 3, we voluntarily promise to take the Bodhisattva vows, to practice these 2 categories of bodhicitta mind, wishing bodhicitta mind and engaging bodhicitta mind. In order to take the engaging bodhicitta mind, then we need to take the Bodhisattva vows. So when we take the Bodhisattva vows, then we promise we will increase this practice. We will strengthen and not decrease this practice. Because what Shantideva said, it is extremely difficult for this degeneration time, because of very difficult to recognize what is the real enemy of the enemy, destroyer of the bodhicitta mind. So therefore, chapter number 4, careful on the conscientiousness, and chapter number 6, introspection, and chapter number 7, patience. Mindfulness, with practicing the patience, are extremely important to strengthen and not decrease your bodhicitta mind. Therefore, chapter number, we finish with this 3rd chapter, right? Which means we promise, and Buddha and Bodhisattvas are our witness. They are witness, doesn't matter, they are always with you, We are not staying because our problem is they are always in front of us. No matter where we are, Buddha and Bodhisattvas are our witness. And so we promise, and we promise to practice this bodhicitta mind. So let me first explain what is the definition of bodhicitta mind. The bodhicitta mind. So generally speaking, bodhicitta mind is mind generation. Mind generation is wish for complete enlightenment for the benefit of others. Just as in the sutra, the one and the others, explained briefly, extensively. So definition of bodhicitta mind is special man mind. So it is man mind. It's man mind. So we have temporary mind and man mind. Isn't it? So man mind, temporary mind is fluctuating. It is comes and goes. So man mind is bit stable and very steady. So man mind means our mental consciousness, not sensory consciousness. Mental consciousness, that is man mind, which is entry way to the Mahayana path. So whenever you achieve bodhicitta mind, then you become Mahayana, and you receive Mahayana first path of accumulation. Now we have 5 Mahayana paths. So some path of accumulations. So we are remembered this chapter number 2. We are accumulating merit, remove obstacles. So when we accumulate merit, purify the mind, and we will generate bodhicitta mind. So when we achieve bodhicitta mind, then you enter the Mahayana path of accumulation. So when you achieve path of accumulation, and then you have good understanding about conventional bodhicitta mind. But there are 2 types of ultimate bodhicitta mind, which is wisdom realizing emptiness. So when we are we prepare to path of preparation, we prepare, combine this special calm abiding and special insight, understanding emptiness with the conceptual mind, not directed conceptual mind. So you are able to achieve calm abiding, which is once we achieve calm abiding, you will receive mental and physical bliss and mental bliss. So physical bliss means by practicing mental bliss, you will be able to become your body more flexible and bliss of the body and bliss of the mind. So when we practice path of preparation, so we are combining this calm abiding, especially inside, by practicing emptiness with the conceptual mind. And then slowly path of seeing, right? Path of seeing is by meditating, and then you are seeing emptiness directly with non-conceptual mind. And then we need to move to the path of meditation. So meditation is, we have to go with the 10 bhumis, because we have 2 types of grasping, intellectual grasping and innate grasping. So innate grasping is very deep. It's very difficult to do. So therefore we should go with the 10 bhumis step by step. And then path of no more learning. So first, so the bodhicitta entryway to the Mahayana path, and it is concomitant with its assistant expression that focus on the complete enlightenment for the benefit of others. So bodhicitta is always combined with the 2 expressions. Expressions for oneself and expressions for others. So the bodhicitta is man-mind. 2 expressions are mental factor. So man-mind, and so when bodhicitta is special rich and mind that focuses on the benefit of enlightenment, but benefit combined. That is the definition of bodhicitta mind. Now the different aspects, sometimes we call the bodhicitta is special mind, sometimes we call the man mind, we call the mental consciousness, sometimes it is entryway to the Mahayana, it is concomitant with its assistant expressions. Its assistant expressions focus on complete enlightenment. So these are different aspects of the definition. You can say man mind, special mind, bodhicitta is very special. Man mind, mental consciousness, and the two branches of expression, right? Expressions. Others benefit expressions, and expressions that focus on the benefit of others, isn't it? So therefore, it is very important to primary mind and mental factor distinguish according to the object of the mind and essential nature of the mind, isn't it? So it is very important to distinguish between man mind and mental factor. So the primary mind is man mind, and mental factors are not man mind, isn't it? Mental factors always just like primary mind is just like king, and the mental factors are just like minister, working with king. So the primary mind is man mind. So if the mind is positive, virtuous, then mental factor also accompanied with positive attitude, feeling, recognition, attention, something like that, isn't it? So if the mind is dominant with the negative, then mental factor also, feeling also negative, recognition also negative, something like that, isn't it? So that means primary mind and the mental factors are distinguished according to the object of mind and essential nature of the mind. The primary mind generally focuses on an object as a whole object. So now bodhicitta mind is the primary mind. So focus on whole object means all sentient beings is whole object. And mental factor focus on specific aspect of an object or its function, So for example, here bodhicitta mind is primary mind. So bodhicitta mind focuses on the whole object. So the object of bodhicitta mind is all sentient beings. Now the mental factor, expression, mental factor, right? Focus on the specific function of the function. So feeling, recognition, attention, and something like 51 different types of mental factors. Now this bodhicitta mind and this mental factor can share 5 same things, right? Number 1 is reliance, number 2 is object, number 3 is aspect, number 4 is time, number 5 is natal source. So the main mind is bodhicitta. So bodhicitta mind and these two expression mental factor share 5 things. So if the bodhicitta mind focus on the sentient beings, reliance, object, aspect, and time, same time, and natal source. So this will bodhicitta mind, and this will share 5 things. So here, this is very important. Sequence of the two branches, right? Two expressions of other and expressions of one, others and oneself, right? The expression that focus on other benefit arise before the expression that focus on own enlightenment. These expressions have sequence. Expressions of others, expressions of oneself are sequence. So means expressions that focus on others benefit arise before expressions that focus on own enlightenment. The expressions that this expressions that concomitant with Bodhisattva in the continuum of the sentient beings on complete enlightenment, in that it aspires to complete enlightenment, that it realizes complete enlightenment. So these expressions sequence, so which expressions with expressions that focus on other arise before the expression that achieve enlightenment. That makes sense, isn't it? Because your enlightenment will come later. Because in order to achieve enlightenment, you're working for others. So all these 6 perfections and things like that. So this expression sequence. So that is the definition of Bodhicitta. Now here are this chapter number conscientiousness. So first we have this chapter, we have there are two points. Number one is name of the chapter, and number two so we are talking about two points. Ryushun Sheva means we are talking about explanation of this chapter, and two is the name of the chapter. So explanation of this chapter, three points. How to meditate on consciousness, and deep explanation of the consciousness and summary. Now how to meditate on the consciousness. So this will come here. This thing. Having firmly seized the awakening mind in this way, Concourse children must never waver. Always should they exhort themselves to never stray from their practice. So that means, so once you generate this mind, then we should not lose this mind. We should keep this mind, but it will lose because of there are two great enemies. Number one enemy is enemy of the I, which we truly believe truly existing I. And number two enemy is self-centered attitude. So these two enemies will destroy the Bodhicitta mind. So these two enemies are, Shantideva said, not like external enemies. So it is kind of like internal enemies. So external enemies are quite easy, so you can defeat the enemies and you can hide from them. Very difficult to recognize these enemies. because these enemies are very sneaky, try to deceive our mind. The ego, maybe people think good, self-centered attitude, whatever, pride. So it is, number one, difficult is very difficult to recognize these are enemies. If we recognize enemy from the beginning, no problem. But we will never, our mind always, influenced by these two enemies. And so it is very difficult to recognize this self-centered attitude, enemy, and inherent existence, I, enemy. Number two, even if you, number one, difficult is recognize difficult enemy as enemy, right? Number two, it is very difficult to, even we recognize little bit, it is very difficult to us to apply suitable antidote to these two enemies. So suitable antidote. So because of these two enemies are so deep, and as soon as our mind is influenced or dominated by these enemies, we decrease our bodhicitta mind and deteriorate our bodhicitta mind. But we are not recognizing this because number two, difficult is very difficult to apply suitable antidote. Number three, difficult is, it is extremely difficult because difficult to prevent from the delusions. These are often coming to our mind because of habituation, because of habit. And we are not used to be trained that way, right? If we train that way, if we think these two enemies are bad, then we will criticize, then we will not welcome these enemies. But we are always, friend with these two enemies, very close, and it's kind of like 24 hours we are friend with this living or whatever, this enemy. So therefore, this Shantideva said, in order to protect these two enemies, we need to practice conscientiousness. So this conscientiousness. And then in the case of reckless action or of deeds not well considered, although I promise may I have been made, it is fit to reconsider whether I should do them or not. So this is very good, This means when we start doing things, we should check whether we can, if we start and we finish or not. So if you think I can't do this, you should not start. So first, before you start any actions, you should check whether you are able to finish or accomplish these actions or not. If you from the beginning I can start and I can finish, then you can put effort. If from the beginning, if you think it is very difficult, then you should not start these actions. So this is what Shantideva said. Before we start any, so this means before we start practice, so you will check your motivation, and if you think I can finish this practice, then you should not start. If you think I can do it, then you start and you finish. So it means whatever action we done, we should analyze and check and put the effort and think about the what purpose or what disadvantage of not practicing something like that. So these are the things like that. But how can I ever withdraw from what has been examined by the great wisdom of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas many times by me, myself? If having made such a promise, I do not put into action, then by deceiving every living being, what kind of rebirth shall I take? It has been taught by the Buddha that those who do not give away the smallest thing which they once intended to give will take rebirth as Holy Ghost. So how can I withdraw this this mind? So this mind means Bodhisattva mind, because as I mentioned before, we take this vow voluntarily, and we also analyze with the wisdom, I mean, what is benefit, what is disadvantage. So how can we give up this mind? Because when you give up this mind, then you are giving all sentient beings. So you promise, when you taking Bodhisattva vows, so you promise, I will take care of all sentient beings. So Buddha and Bodhisattvas are witness, and then if you give up, and then you are deceiving all these holy beings. So if you are deceiving holy beings, then where should we go? What is your future? Something like that. And even you are not giving small things, stingy, you will be reborn a hungry ghost. So then what now? When we talk about this practicing conscientiousness, here we are conscientiousness with these Bodhisattva actions. So Bodhisattva actions are the taking Bodhisattva vows, and your action is practicing 6 perfections: so generosity, morality, patience, joyful effort, concentration, and wisdom realizing emptiness. So these are your action. So action really. So when we take vows, then we promise we will do this action, whatever we can. So this is the action that I was talking about. Okay. May I ask some questions? Bit rusty today. No English for 2-3 months. Only Tibetan and Hindi speaking. Not much.
Pretty good.
Excuse me. When you said that the bodhicitta mind and the secondary mind share the 5 things,
Yeah.
what were they again? I remember
Reliance, object,
yeah,
aspect,
that's it.
time, and net. So bodhicitta mind is man mind, and mental factor share these 5 together. So it means if the man mind is positive, mental factor also positive. If the man mind is negative, then mental factor also share with the 5 same things. And fundamental ego grasping mind. These are Innate mind means this internal enemy. Internal enemy, right? Internal enemies. Internal enemy. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Internal enemy. Not the external enemy. Different. These are within our mind, isn't it? So,
We are our own worst enemy.
yeah, you are your own master. You are your own enemy. Buddha said you are your own master. You are your own enemy. So really enemy is not like, the external enemy. External enemy is temporary, right? If there is no internal enemy, no external enemy, right? No delusion, no enemy. If your mind is positive, no enemy, right? Internal. So your mind designating, oh, this is enemy, this is stranger, this is a friend, this is good person, this is bad person. So things like that.
You said that you should not start anything unless you know that you can finish it. Could you elaborate on that a bit more? Because sometimes you're not always sure of the problems that's going to occur.
Your practice, kind of like practice of meditation, right? Meditation. So it means the meditation should be good quality meditation. I mean, some people want. It means that before you start meditation, you should check your motivation and how long I will meditate on this specific object. And if you think, oh, I can meditate 10 minutes, so you set up this intention, right? So intention influences your mind. And then actual meditation time, then you will be very enjoy this practice because you set up intention and you analyze, and 10 minutes, no problem. So intention influences your mind, and when actual practice, you're enjoying with this practice. So when you finish this practice, after 10 minutes, then you will be finished with joyfully, not with all, joyfully. Then next meditation, very good, because you start with joyfully, finish with joyfully. So if you're meditating on any specific object, it means before you start, then you should check the motivation and how your circumstances. If you, for example, like if you're too hot, you're meditating 1 hour, then torture your mind and body, right? So something, all depends on the circumstances, everything, and make sure, oh, I can meditate this 10 minutes, no problem, every day, Every day you're going 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, next year you extend 20 minutes. So go like that, then mind become more stable. So that is the point. Any action or any meditation, before you start, you should check. That's the point. So you start with joyfully, finish with joyfully, then recharge your meditation.